action and homecoming Glacier Peak Mount Lake Terrace. Steve Willits, our guest, is going to hang out here for a couple series in the third quarter as we get going. Action again, I want to talk a little bit more maybe through with about the Meadowdale team. Again, Mike Don, his first year coming back, the legendary Mark Stewart heading down to Rainier, and kicking off is Spencer Pettit. And we'll see, he was nice to Mount Lake Terrace. There it is, on the ground, Terrace there, I think Terrace has it.
They do have it. What happened, Scott, is that was actually a perfect onside kick, but one of the GP guys actually kicked it another 10 yards on accident. He was running for it and kicked it down the field a little bit.
Michael Hunt was there on the reception, and we've seen a lot of onside.
Scott,
seen a lot of onside kicks by Glacier Peak. The junior, number 8. And now we've got the officials. I don't know, is there a flag there?
I think what happened is he kicked the GP guy kicked it before it went 10 yards, I believe, is what happened.
And you know what? He is rarely wrong, Steve Willits. Mr. Boyle is seriously, he doesn't need binoculars. He's got some mind meld going down there.
Well, what I like to say is I reserve the right to be wrong.
Hopkins, a pass incomplete, his second completion tonight. And that's Austin Bates on the catch. Good for 5-yard pickup. They're going to give him 4. 2nd and 6. 11:38, just started the second half.
Who was the receiver on that?
Austin Bates.
Austin Bates.
As we like to call him, Fife.
Fife. No, what's that?
Fife High School.
Okay.
And everybody knows him as Fife.
There we go.
2nd and 6. Ragsdale on the right side, but Mo Fafita catches up with him, but he pushes the pile for a couple. Chance Ragsdale again having to carry a heavy load, Steve Willits.
Yeah, that's, again, we go right back to it. Without Lacoste in there, it's huge for them, and they really don't have anybody to spill him. There's a huge drop-off after that. It's Chance left, Chance right, Chance up the middle, and you kind of know what's coming.
And you brought up a good point where when Glacier Peak has struggled a lot, when the team's had 2 good running backs, Glacier Peak has really struggled, and unfortunately for Terrace, it kind of takes that out of the equation.
Terrace likes to run that wing T offense, and the wing T offense requires multiple running backs. It requires players to run off of the wing. You usually want 2 players in the backfield, and if you already know which one of the 2 is going to get it, it's not a read option at that point, right? If you're in the defense, you can focus and key on.
Correct.
3rd and 4 now for Hopkins, and whistles are still going and blowing.
Probably a false start.
No, timeout.
Oh, they called timeout on that.
It's like Tony Amayam called a timeout. Let's go back again. Our guest in the booth, the voice of the Mount Lake Terrace Hawks, Steve Willits. Again, Scott Oshman and Tim Boyle along here on STSBN.com. Glacier Peak up 17-0, just start of the second half. Steve, we talked about Meadowdale Mike Don. Now, you've seen him a lot of, we were speculating before, first year. Now Mike Don coaches at Linwood. We can go into that whole situation if you want, but with the head coaching there. But what's his, they've just adopted like nothing's ever changed with Mike Don at Meadowdale because of the good running back?
Well, it's interesting because I had a chance to talk to Mike before the Inglewood game, and I asked him about that. We were talking on Thursday night, so the night before the game, and I mentioned that he's a graduate of Prosser High School, a school that's notorious for passing the ball a lot. Kellen Moore, who was the quarterback at Boise State, came out of there, and Cody Bruns and some of those guys. And so I said, you've kind of got the reputation as being a passing coach. And I'll let you get back to this point. I'll kind of finish that story. It was very interesting what he said, though.
I can't wait. I'm on the edge of my seat. So 3rd and 4, big time. They had 1 first down in the first half, another whistle before the ball snapped.
Are they ever going to get this playoff?
This is the
come on.
Most time-consuming 3rd and 4. They're going to call Glacier Peak.
What'd they call? It didn't look like anybody jumped on that. That gives them a first down, but hey, Terrace will take it any way they can get it.
Steve, you all right with that one?
We'll take anything right now. If penalties, whatever they want to do for us, we'll take it.
Speaking of the guys in stripes, interesting, we found out a technical definition what happened the first game of the field goal, but 1st and 10 now. Hopkins has to run right. Throws a dart behind, incomplete, trying to go to number 80, Gabe Brady. Threw it a little behind. I thought Gabe might have got his paws on it, but to no avail.
Yeah, it actually he was actually would have been open, but just a little bit bad throw there.
10:34 left, 2nd and 10 now on the Glacier Peak 37-yard line. Back to, talked about referees, so you saw Spencer Pettit try for a 51-yard field goal. Missed it short, which was rare. We're getting spoiled. And the ref placed at the 20. We found out why. 2nd and 10 here for Hopkins. Fakes it to Ragsdale. Gets it over. A nice one-handed catch complete. Justin Guffey had nothing of it and just gets him down right when he got the ball. But a great catch by Annie Clossy. Is that how you say that?
You said it correctly. Clossy's an interesting story. He was a player who wore, I want to say his number was 55 last year.
Wow.
Offensive lineman, defensive lineman, and just became a workout junkie for, I guess, a better way to say it, and just recreated himself, really, and became a wide receiver and a defensive back this year.
3rd and 11. Right side. Gets a few yards, not enough, up to the 30. Walgren with the ball. And he'll be stopped short at the 30, going to bring up 4th and 3.
I think they're in 4-down territory here.
What do you think?
You got to go for that. I don't think they're going to kick a 50-yard field goal. So.
Although they do have a good field goal kicker.
Do they?
Not quite as strong as Pettit. Mikey Jensen, who's the sophomore, one of the better kickers in the league. But again, what you guys are seeing out of Pettit this year, you're getting spoiled.
We are.
We're all sitting there like, really? He couldn't hit a 50-yarder? What's going on?
Get rid of him.
Come on, Spencer. We're going to talk to his parents after the game, as we usually do. 4th and 3. Big moment here for the Hawks. Hopkins fakes. Now he gets it to Walgren, but the Glacier Peak defense had that book read already, and they will get the ball back. A big stop for the GP defense.
And the linebacker stayed put on that, Scott. He did his job on that play. Didn't fall for anything.
Interesting. I thought maybe they'd try some play action. And want to get back again. The Meadowdale coach again. The story. Steve Willits again, our guest here. 9:08 left in the 3rd quarter. Glacier Peak up 17-0, and they'll take over the ball. But tell us what Mike Don told you, Steve.
Yeah, essentially what Don said was that he's not necessarily a passing coach. He plays to what his personnel is, and he's got the right personnel for a passing game on any given year. He's going to pass it more. He has the personnel to do a running game. He'll do that. And really, the game that I had broadcasted, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it was probably about 80% run, just because of the fact that his line was getting pushed and Braxton was going off, and he's going to play to his strength.
Pinka, meanwhile, picks up 3, leaves them at 2nd and 7 on their own 36-yard line. Branson Corwin, the senior quarterback, in there with a tremendous game last week. Pinka in the backfield. He does give it to Pinka on the left side. Pinka drives through the left side over Holloman and the gang and gets a nice pickup. It'll leave him 3rd and short. Tilby Muniz. Is it Muniz, Steve? Muniz?
Muniz. And Muniz is actually the older brother of Tanner Muniz, who broke his leg last week right before halftime.
Another injury.
He was the one who broke his tibia.
That's the one you showed us the X-ray of, right?
I did not. One of the parents did.
One of the parents. Okay.
3rd and 2 from the 41. Corwin, does he give it? He hides it. He pitches it over to Wong. Wong has some room on the right, crosses the mid-stripe. Now he's got open field. But catching up with him is a Terrace Hawk, but he brings it all the way down to the 23 or 4 yard line. A big pickup by Wong.
And you'll notice, Scott, again, Wong runs right at you. You think he's going to run out of bounds or something. He just keeps running right at you, and he's hard to tackle.
And they were having trouble with that sweep toss. I think they might have practiced in the locker room, Tim, because that time they did it very nicely. It's going back, though, unfortunately.
I wonder what that was.
Todd Elvig, executive producer, says it's a holding call. Let's go down to Ron Henthorn, our sideline reporter. Ron, what happened on that play? Who was that?
flag was at the 50-yard line.
There it is. There's the official call. Again, Scott Oshman, Tim Boyle joined along with Tim Boyle and Steve Boyle and Tim Willett. No, Steve Willits, the voice of the Hawks, up here in the booth.
And that amounts to about a 45-yard penalty.
That's
realistically.
Huge. Poor Kainoa Wong. 3rd and 5 to the 38. They'll try one more time. The sweep fake. Now Branson in trouble, and he goes down. And that is Pa'anui.
I mean, he took him down hard, too. He had no trouble taking Branson looks like he's a little shook up on the play, but kind of looks like he's limping.
Does that kind of look like an all-league player who's missed 3 weeks of play and is just fired up and ready to get back out on the field? Right?
Well, it doesn't look like he's missed 3 weeks, I'll tell you that.
Looks like he's been waiting to hit somebody for a while.
Yeah.
He's ready to go, and the foot apparently is okay, right?
Apparently.
That's what we like to call 6'5", 270 versus 5'7", 140. Pettit! Almost, Jensen almost gets to it. You think he might have tipped that?
It might have.
Bounces out at the 48.
Well,
wow.
What happened? Almost went over his head, and Spencer had to make another one of those acrobatic catches to actually field that ball.
And I don't know if Southard was the long snapper on that one. I didn't catch it.
Yeah, but Spencer barely got that kickoff.
Spencer's had to work really hard this year on a few long snaps for a punt. 6:56 left in the third quarter. 17-0 Glacier Peak. It's homecoming here in Veterans Memorial Stadium. And the Terrace Hawks one more time. Hopkins now does pitch it to Ragsdale, but he's not going to get much. Nice stretch defense there. Lane, first one to get him. Lane Black, the sophomore, getting some big minutes on the defensive end tonight, Tim.
Yeah, we haven't called his name really at all, so good to see the sophomores in.
Want to make sure everybody comes out and supports Glacier Peak football on October 12th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. by test driving a Ford provided by Bickford Ford at Glacier Peak High School. The football boosters earn $20 for each test drive, one per household, must be 18 and over. Tim, make sure you get down there and test drive and show everybody about how to drive a Ford.
I will do that.
Second 11.
I think that's going to be on. I didn't see Terrace move on that. I think that's going to be on GP. But
now, Jevan Pahanui, you know, are good friends again. Steve Willits here, and there's the call. They're going to walk them
5 yards offsides, Glacier Peak.
We talked about, again, just real quickly, Glacier Peak penalties almost every single year have been an issue. They've mitigated them several times throughout the years, but this year no different. They're just getting a lot of penalties.
But they're not quite as costly as they have been in the previous years, but there's more of them, it seems like.
2nd and 6 now, right inside of Glacier Peak territory. Ragsdale, but he gets taken down again by Lane Black. Welcome to varsity football number 34.
This Lane Black kid?
He's a sophomore, 5'8", 180. Lane Black putting it on.
Playing like Timmy Douglas back there at 5'8".
Timmy Douglas, Rudy.
Yeah.
Rudy.
We got another Rudy on our hands.
That pushes them back to the original line of scrimmage, leaves it at 3rd and 10. Again, our guest here, Steve Willits, the voice of Mount Lake Terrace Hawks. He does every single sport. Squash. They have a squash game. Have you done a squash game as Hopkins goes back to pass?
Uh-oh.
Now he's looking across it.
I think
dropped.
And he almost had it. Kind of bobbled it in his hands. He had it. It was actually a good catch. Hit him right in the numbers.
That was Bates he was going for again. What happened there, Steve? I think Bates was frustrated. He missed that ball. It was a catchable one.
And he should be. Bates is a junior tight end. He's pretty much the best hands we have on the team right now. I know that just from talking to Coach Umayam during practices or after practice, Bates is pretty much the sure thing. He's the guy that you want to get that ball in that situation. And he had a first down if he catches it, and now he's going to punt.
Now he's punting. Okay.
Oh, he is punting. Not Jensen back, but he's got Guffey and Hines. Hines fair catches it, but he misses it. He's right at the 12-yard line, and that's where Glacier Peak will start. 5:10 left here in the third quarter. Steve Willits, the voice. One more thing from him.
Yeah, I was just noticing too, and this is maybe something that you can nice testament for the Glacier Peak team. I haven't seen Mount Lake Terrace run too many 4-set wide receiver sets this season, and that whole drive they're just now almost strictly 4 receiver sets. So obviously they're finding that they need to adjust and they can't play their own ball game. They're having to go away from that. says a lot for what Glacier Peak's doing on defense right now.
Well, and Hopkins, a valiant effort. Obviously, the kid coming back. He's only had he's 3 for 11. He should be more than that. He's had a couple of tough passes, a couple drop balls, and hopefully the Terrace Hawks will get healthy here. Hopefully they've got a quick and good rehab as Branson Corwin now gives it to Darling. Darling tries to stretch forward, and he loses the ball as he's down, but I think he's down by contact. He'll get a couple, but this is the worst start for field position for Glacier Peak tonight, and they're up 17-0.
It's actually the clock is actually going to become the enemy right now for Terrace. You know, with about under 5 minutes left in the third quarter, they got to score 3 times, and it's going to be a struggle right now.
Well, coming off the biggest third quarter last week against Jackson, scoring 28, Glacier Peak averaging 34 points. Corwin tosses it, kind of a counter to Hines. Hines crosses the 30 or the 20 up to the 22. Again, Austin Hines, he's just had a great year, Tim.
He really has, and I don't know that we expected that out of him. But he was kind of our sleeper pick a couple times last year, but he's right there for MVP of the year so far.
He had his one STSPN Player of the Game to his credit this year, and stay tuned for the Kathy Salvadolina Player of the Game in the post game. 3rd and 1 now, 3:59 left. Corwin. Now he's going to tuck and roll himself and finds a big-time crease, crosses the 35, and that's easy money for a first down.
Well, he's really improved on that keeper option. Last week we saw it just over and over again, and I think he just got comfortable in the last couple of weeks.
9 carries on his own last week for 62 yards. He was spectacular last week.
The 5-tool player pointed out that's the triple option, they call it.
Fakes it to Darling, but Corwin has nowhere to go, and he is just absolutely pancaked right there.
Did you see who that was?
That was Annie Clossie again, met him. Boy, he got off the elevator and had somebody at his grill.
Well, you know who else that was, too? That was number 54, Brett Potter, who was one of the top linebackers in the league.
No, what is it, Potter? It's Porter.
It's Potter.
Oh, my goodness. Mr. and Mrs. Potter, I apologize. 2nd and 2, Darling. He bundles up, and I think the board was wrong there. Not getting so excited about these names. That was Matt Darling on the carry.
I think it was more like 2nd.
Yeah, it wasn't 2nd and 2. Never cheat for the board. Steve Willits knows that.
Absolutely not.
3rd and 5, 2:41 left in the third quarter. Homecoming night here. Darling in the backfield. Hines in motion. Fakes it to Darling. Now he's going to keep it himself on the far side. Stretches the play. Gets a Glacier Peak first down. Out on Terrace territory at the 49. Another great wheels by Branson Corwin.
Branson's heart, when he hits the corner, difficult to catch him. It becomes a speed game.
He's small and he's tough. Talked to him after the game last week. Said he had a little cold. He had a couple big hits. So apparently a lot of the Glacier Peak Grizzlies were sick last week, especially on the front line.
Well, they must have got well at halftime.
They did. Something. 1st and 10 now. Just inside Terrace territory. Branson thinks about it, going to keep it, but not much there. Good defensive team play by the Hawks.
I got to hand it to Terrace. When they tackle you, they make you think about it, doing the same play next time. It looks like it hurts a little bit.
There are some really nasty guys on that team. The front 4 in particular, you've got Bates 15, Podnui 72. Potter has 36 tackles going into tonight. Double-digit tackles in the first 3 games. Each of those games, they're tough.
Darling with a carry on the left side. He'll get a couple. Going to lead him 3rd and a few. 1:47 as the clock winds down. James is at Pollinger. Steve gives me a nod. Tell us about Mount Lake Terrace. Again, we've always talked over the years. I think Tony Umaim has a tough challenge there because they don't have a lot of depth. Just where the school's situated, he's done a tremendous job over the years. Tell us a little bit about what it's like and what he's dealing with there at Mount Lake Terrace and how he does it. Such a great job building a competitive team.
I can tell you one thing in one sentence that'll blow you away. The decade of the 1990s, 9 wins for the entire program. At
Wow.
the university level, 9 wins in 10 years.
3rd and 4, and I don't think he's going to get it.
No, he didn't get it. He's about 2 yards short, maybe a yard and a half short.
And that's Pahanui.
So that's
Potter.
4th and probably about a yard or yard and a half there.
Potter with another
going for
tackle.
that.
Oh, sorry, Tim.
This would be a 57-yarder if they decide to bring the weapon out.
The weapon says in practice he's hit it from 62, man.
He did say that, yeah. They're going for it, though.
Branson now Darling in the backfield. Now they look over for the audible. Big number 52. He is Burley. I don't have him on the roster. Branson!
Oh, it's going to be close.
Oh, he's trying to poke. He does. He
He
leans forward for a GP first down.
Ooh.
Oh, boy, he took the 5'8 frame and made it 6'2, baby.
That was all second effort on that, too, because Terrace had him. It kind of stuffed him. It would have been a spot, I'll tell you that.
Clock winding down here in the 3rd quarter.
Well,
What?
what they ended up marking it, they only looked like they only got it by like an inch, but on the push it looked like he had it by about a yard and a half.
Yeah, he must have moved his shoe size up a couple inches to get that one. That's going to end the 3rd quarter here at Veterans Memorial Stadium. Again, Steve Willits, thanks for coming by, the voice of Mount Lake Terrace Hawks. If you have any
Thank you, Steve.
sport known to mankind, Steve is brilliant at doing it. He can tell you every Mount Lake Terrace historical statistic probably in the last 20 years.
9 wins in 10 years.
10
He already
years,
told
Yeah,
us that.
and he can probably tell you more about anything. He's also, how many miles did you run in 1 month, Mr. Willits?
355 miles in the month of September.
Whoa!
Not too shabby, right?
What are you, Forrest? Is it Forrest Gump here or something?
There's a little bit of that.
Where do you have like the
Just trying
big
to stay young,
beard and the? Wow.
Took a few minutes here and there to shave, so I kept myself pretty clean. Work requires that, but I did what I could.
Nicely done.
Well, thanks for coming by.
Hey,
Check
guys.
him out at the Sound Live Sports Network, our good friends over there. And with 12 minutes left in the game, Glacier Peak holding on to a 17-0 lead. You're watching Glacier Peak football on the Snohomish Times Sports Network. We'll be back right after this.